everyone! Welcome to my first educational vlog. For today's video, we are going to tackle about the cell type and the cell structure. Please keep on watching if you want to know what are the cell types and structure. Before we tackle about the cell types and structure, let's define first what is cell. Cells are the basic fundamental unit of life. So, if we were to break apart an organism to the cellular level, the smallest independent component that we would find would be the cell. Cells are also the structural, functional, and biological units of all living organisms. A cell can replicate itself independently. Hence, they are known as the building blocks of life. There are many different types, sizes, and shapes of cells in the body. A cell consists of three parts: the cell membrane, the nucleus, and between the two, the cytoplasm. Within the cytoplasm lie intricate arrangements of fine fibers and hundreds or even thousands of minuscule but distinct structures called organelles. Cell membrane. Every cell in the body is enclosed by a cell membrane. The cell membrane separates the material outside the cell, extracellular, from the material inside the cell, intracellular. It maintains the integrity of a cell and controls passage of materials into and out of the cell. All materials within a cell must have access to the cell membrane for the needed exchange. The cell membrane is a double layer of phospholipid molecules. Proteins in the cell membrane provide structural support, form channels for passage of materials, acts as receptor sites, functions as carrier molecules, and provide identification markers. Nucleus. The nucleus, formed by a nuclear membrane around the fluid nucleoplasm, is the control center of the cell. Threads of chromatin in the nucleus contain DNA, the genetic material of the cell. The nucleolus is a dense region of RNA in the nucleus and is the site of ribosome formation. The nucleus determines how the cell will function, as well as the basic structure of that cell. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the gel-like fluid inside the cell. It is the medium for chemical reaction. It provides a platform upon which other organelles can operate within the cell. All of the functions for cell expansion, growth, and replication are carried out in the cytoplasm of a cell. Within the cytoplasm, materials move by diffusion, a physical process that can work only for short distances. All organisms are made up of cells. They may be made up of a single cell, or unicellular, or many cells, multicellular. There are various essential characteristics of cells. First, cells provide structure and support to the body of an organism. Second, the cell interior is organized into different individual organelles surrounded by a separate membrane. Third, the nucleus, which is the major organelle, holds genetic information necessary for reproduction and cell growth. Fourth, every cell has one nucleus and membrane-bound organelles in the cytoplasm. Fifth, mitochondria, a double membrane-bound organelle, is mainly responsible for the energy transactions vital for the survival of the cell. Next, lysosomes digest unwanted materials in the cell. And lastly, endoplasmic reticulum plays a significant role in the internal organization of the cell by synthesizing selective molecules and processing, directing, and sorting them to their appropriate locations. Now that we already know what is cell and even discussed its characteristics, let's proceed to its Cells are similar to factories with different laborers and departments that work towards a common objective. Various types of cells perform different functions, and based on a cellular structure, There are two types of cells. First, the prokaryotes. Second, the eukaryotes. What is prokaryotes? The word prokaryote is derived from a Greek word pro, meaning before, and karyon, meaning kernel. It translates to before nuclei. Prokaryotic cells are comparatively smaller and much simpler than eukaryotic cells. The other defining characteristics of prokaryotic cells is that it does not possess membrane-bound cell organelles such as nucleus. Reproduction happens through the process of binary fission. This is the prokaryotic cell. Structurally, prokaryotes have a capsule enveloping its entire body and it functions as a protective coat. Prokaryotes are unicellular organisms that lack organelles or other internal membrane-bound structures. Therefore, they do not have a nucleus, but instead generally have a single chromosome, a piece of circular double-stranded DNA located in an area of the cell called the nucleus. Most prokaryotes have a cell wall outside the plasma membrane. The pilus is a hair-like appendage found on the external surface of most prokaryotes, and it helps the organism to attach itself to various environments. Right below the protective coating lies the cell wall, which provides strength and rigidity to the cell. Further down lies the cytoplasm that helps in cellular growth, and this is contained within the plasma membrane, which separates the interior contents of the cell from the outside environment. Within the cytoplasm, ribosomes exist, and it plays an important role in protein synthesis. It is also one of the smallest components within the cell. To help with locomotion, flagella are present, though pilus can also serve as an aid for locomotion. Common examples of prokaryotic organisms are bacteria and archaea. The other type of cell is eukaryotes. The term eukaryotes is derived from the Greek word eo, meaning good, and karyon, meaning kernel, translating to good or true nuclei. Eukaryotes are more complex and much larger than the prokaryotes. Structurally, eukaryotes possess a cell wall, which supports and protects the plasma membrane. The cell is surrounded by the plasma membrane and it controls the entry and exit of certain substances. The nucleus contains the DNA, which is responsible for storing all genetic information. Eukaryotic cells also contain mitochondria, which are responsible for the creation of energy, which is then utilized by the cell. Present in only plant cells, chloroplasts are the subcellular sites of photosynthesis. Endoplasmic reticulum helps in the transportation of materials. Besides this, there are also other cell organelles that perform various other functions, and these include ribosomes, lysosomes, Golgi bodies, cytoplasm, chromosomes, vacuoles, and centrosomes. This is the structure of a plant cell. Plant cells have a cell wall, chloroplasts, plasmodesmata, and plastids used for storage, and a large central vacuole, whereas animal cells do not. And this is the structure for the animal cell. Despite their fundamental similarities, there are some striking differences between animal and plant cells. Animal cells have centrioles, centrosomes, and lysosomes, whereas plant cells do not. The cell structure comprises individual components with specific functions, essential to carry out life processes. These components include cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, and cell organelles. Please keep on watching to explore more insights on cell structure. Cell wall. The cell wall is the most prominent part of the plant's cell structure. It is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. The cell wall is present exclusively in plant cells. It protects the plasma membrane and other cellular components. The cell wall is also the outermost layer of plant cells. It provides shape and support to the cells and protects them from mechanical shocks and injuries. Cell membrane. The cell membrane supports and protects the cell. It controls the movement of substances in and out of the cells. It separates the cell from the external environment. The cell membrane is present in all the cells. The cell membrane is the outer covering of a cell within which all other organelles such as the cytoplasm and nucleus are enclosed. It is also referred to as the plasma membrane. It forms the wall-like structure between two cells as well as between the cell and its surroundings. Plants are immobile, so their cell structures are well adapted to protect them from external factors. The cell wall helps to reinforce this function. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a thick, clear, jelly-like substance present inside the cell membrane. Most of the chemical reactions within a cell take place in this cytoplasm. The cell organelles such as the endoplasmic reticulum, vacuoles, mitochondria, ribosomes are suspended in the cytoplasm. Nucleus. The nucleus contains the hereditary material of the cell, the DNA. It sends signals to the cells to grow, mature, divide, and die. The nucleus is surrounded by the nuclear envelope that separates the DNA from the rest of the cell. The nucleus protects the DNA and is an integral component of a plant's cell structure. Cell organelles. Cells are composed of various cell organelles that perform certain specific functions to carry out life processes. The different cell organelles along with its principal functions are as follows. First, nucleolus. The nucleolus is the site of ribosome synthesis. Also, it is involved in controlling cellular activities and cellular reproduction. Nuclear membrane. The nuclear membrane protects the nucleus by forming a boundary between the nucleus and other cell organelles. Chromosomes. Chromosomes play a crucial role in determining the sex of an individual. Each human cells contain 23 pairs of chromosomes. Endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is involved in the transportation of substances throughout the cell. It plays a primary role in the metabolism of carbohydrates, synthesis of lipids, steroids, and proteins. Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies are called the cell's post office as it is involved in the transportation of materials within the cell. Ribosome. Ribosomes are the protein synthesizer of the cell. Mitochondria. The mitochondrion is called the powerhouse of the cell. It is called so because it produces ATP, the cell's energy currency. Lysosomes. Lysosomes protect the cell by engulfing the foreign bodies entering the cell and helps in cell renewal. Therefore, it is known as the cell's suicide bags. Chloroplast. Chloroplasts are the primary organelles for photosynthesis. It contains the pigment chlorophyll. Lastly, vacuoles. Vacuole stores food, water, and other waste materials in the cell. That's all for this video. I hope you learned a lot about the cell types and structure. Thank you for watching.